today, our author spotlight is our own very favorite, Linda Broday. And Linda, if you'll join me up here. Come here.
Okay.
Before we get started, Linda, probably not a bad idea. Don't mind being Mrs. Linda. Yeah. Linda is our own Yellow Rose of Texas, that's for sure. And we want to celebrate her and her tenure for her presidency. This was so great, and I want to thank her so much for serving and the help she's given me and the advice. And thank you, Linda. That's not all. Oh, so stay right here.
Am I going to cry?
No, probably not. I'll probably misspell something. We have a little flag for recognition that says, with our appreciation, Linda Broday, President, is recognized for outstanding commitment and dedication to Caprock Writers and Illustrators Alliance.
Oh, thank you so much.
2020.
Yeah, all this is just food right in there.
Okay. All right, now I'm turning our program over to Linda.
Okay, here we go. Now it's my turn. It's my turn. Okay, my story starts in a tent in New Mexico. When I was born, that was our home. We lived there for probably 5 years after I was born. And I had 3 older siblings, plus my 2 parents, so it was crowded. And I knew we were just so poor. And I knew from an early age that there would be few opportunities for me, especially higher education. But I was born with stories in my head, and I was telling them before I could even write and entertain people with my stories. And then my little sister came along, and then, of course, by that time I was writing, I was learning to write. I loved school. And I excelled in English, especially, and spelling. I always was in every spelling bee. So God helped me. He gave me the tools, but I didn't have the confidence. I thought only educated college people could write. They were the ones who wrote the books, not someone like me. I wrote in school short stories, themes, all the stuff and got very good grades. And so then came graduation, and I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't smart enough to write books. But I read, oh my gosh, from the time I was born, my earliest memory is someone reading a book to me, a fairy tale book. And from then on, I was an avid reader. I loved the written word and the stories, the magical stories that came out of those books. So I taught myself to write, I guess, through reading. Just everything I could find. Read. And every Saturday, would take us, me and my little sister, to the library. And we spent the whole day, in the library. Looking at books and reading books, and then we would check out the maximum amount and take them home, and then the next Saturday we were through and brought them back. And, so anyway, I was married and had some children, and when I read this book that I really loved, except for the ending. It was horrible. The ending was not good, so I rewrote it. I rewrote that ending to suit me, and that gave me the confidence to start a book of my own. It was slow. I had home and children and all of that, so it took a while. And it was a story about pirates. I didn't know anything about pirates. Not one thing, or ships. But I wrote it, and then I let some family members read it. They all, oh, this is so good. You know how family is, they don't tell you the truth. So I put that book away, and I started another one that was very dear to my heart. Growing up, this book was inspired by the little playmate that I had growing up. She lived next door, and with a man and a woman, and one day she told me, they are not my parents. He won me in a poker game. And I just, even though I was young, I knew that was terrible. That was something really, really bad. And I told my mom, and she asked the woman, and she said yes, but will you please not tell anybody? And so my mom didn't, because it would have brought the police to our place, and my dad was a bootlegger. So she kept the secret, and she was a dishwasher at a local restaurant, and the man did not work. He was a drunk. He was drunk every single day of his life, and would lay out in the yard and throw rocks at us, or start calling us bad names, and anyway, this is what this girl had to live with. And she would cry, and she would say, someday when I get big, I'm going to find my parents and find out why they didn't want me. And that really stuck. And I knew I had to write a happy story for her. So when I started writing books, that was the one. It was loosely based on that, of course. And it was about a cowboy who was he had buried his wife and baby and rode off because he didn't have a reason to stay. And he just wandered from town to town, and then he sat in on a poker game, and he won this little baby. And she saved his life. She gave him something to live for. And so anyway, I wrote Night on the Texas Plains. This is the story that started my career. And it was re-released by Source Books Publishing a few years ago. And I had a new cover and everything. I heard about a contest. Well, first of all, I sent it everywhere, trying to get a publisher to accept it, or an agent, or somebody. And all I got was rejections, just one after another. And so I saw this advertisement for Dorchester Publishing had a contest called the New Historical Voice. They were looking for a new writer, and so I entered the contest. And 2 weeks later, I get a phone call, and I said, I just sent the limited pages, I think the first chapter or something. She said, can you send the whole book? So I did, and then it was shortly after they called back, and they said, we're taking you out of this contest. We want to offer you a contract right now. Wow. So,
oh wow,
it come happened. So that started, I needed that confidence, and that others thought I could tell a good story besides just my family. And so the second one, I followed with this, The Cowboy Who Came Calling. And I based this story on my life. I had just been diagnosed with MS, and I started losing vision. I had to retire from my job at an insurance company because I couldn't see the computer screen. That was the first symptom of plus falling a lot. So I became a full-time writer, and then I started entering that book in contest, and it won the National Reader's Choice Award. So that was such a happy achievement, and validated my struggle and my thought that only educated college people could write. Anybody can. It's open. So I approve. I've now written 42 books. Wow. This year I put out 3, and I also had 5 surgeries and was in the hospital, in and out. I don't know how I did it. I don't know. It was a God thing, and I don't even really remember the second book. I don't even remember writing it, but it's written and has my name on it, and I was the only one there, so. And then Everett House Publishing in London, England. And so they put it out, and it's done pretty well. But they don't know how to market. They don't know about us or some of the books in the U.S. They don't seem to know. And then the third book, the last one that I put out this year, was the sequel to this one, and I don't have a print copy of it, but it's called Courting Miss Emma, and I put camels in it. She had a time with those camels that weren't even hers, and she couldn't keep them away from these orphans, because she had this orphanage, and the kids all had to see them. They had to see those camels. So anyway,
If you don't mind me asking, Linda, how do you write so fast? How do you write 3 books in a year? Or
I did.
what's your process?
I am a full-time writer, and I get up, whether I feel like it or not, I go to the computer. I have a certain time to start, and I write till about 6 in the evening. I'm very blessed that a first draft is pretty well done. It's pretty well fleshed out, and there's not a lot to do after I get that first draft. But so there's always things to tinker with, try to improve.
So as you say, you're a full-time writer, sometimes there's days where nothing comes. So if that happens, like, is there something that you do to, get it back up again, or how do you help yourself that way?
I pray a lot. I'm not real religious, definitely not over-religious or anything, but I trust in God, and He gives me the strength that I need for each day. A lot of people, I have so many things wrong. Health problems, and I have lost a kidney, I have heart, diabetes, MS, but you can still have your dream. It doesn't stop you. If you want it bad enough, you can still have your dream.
So how many words are in your book, and how many words do you write per day or write per week?
I like to get 1,000 words a day. That's my goal. Some days I get more, and that makes me not feel so bad when I'm a little short. Most of my books, they're big. This was 100,000 words, and my first books, they were pretty hefty too, somewhere around 95. And I gave them my childhood playmate a happy life. She, in this book, she was very loved, very cherished. The man who lived there, who won her in the poker game, one day he got over in our yard and he started chasing my mom with with a machete and tried to kill her. And me and my younger sister ran in the house, and my sister locked the door. Mom couldn't get in. But I got it unlocked, and she made it. But and she did never report it. She never called the cops. It was something she didn't want anyone come poking around on her. And then my dad, she put her foot down and she said, this is gonna stop, and you are gonna get a job, and no more of this. So, and I joined the church, and so we got in construction and worked really. He was a hard worker in construction. Never got arrested, but all of his brothers and sisters had, and it was kind of a family profession. My grandfather was a bootlegger, and he taught his sons, and the girls too, and he was always in and out of jail. And so anyway, Mom was determined my dad was going to be better. She was not going to visit him in prison. So anyway, it's been a wonderful life, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, not any part of it. I just love it. I love writing. I love creating characters. They're just all so unique and entertaining. I sit and laugh a lot or cry. Nearly every book I do that, and I figure if it touches me, it's going to touch someone else, surely. But yep, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Question. Since you write so fast and you pretty much have your first draft as your book, do you have beta readers that read your stuff, or do you pass that down?
I have a critique group. I was very fortunate. I moved to Amarillo, and I got in a critique group with Jody Thomas and Joanna Pace, Phyllis Miranda, all very good writers, and they helped a lot. Every writer, I think, needs some critique. They need to know what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, and you gauge by comments that you get back, all the feedback, and so.
So do you still have beta readers now?
I have a critique group still. We do a lot of Zooming. Then I take trips up to Amarillo when I can, and we get together in person, and Taylor Moore is also part of our group, and I'm trying to get him for a speaker to come again. It's been 4 years, and it's time for him to be back. So